let's talk about some really interesting things. I've been thinking about this for quite some time and really wanted to share this with you, give you a sense of what I'm talking about. You know, a little while ago I did a video and I talked about how things are changing and how whether you like it or not, things are changing. And that's, as I said in that video, that is always true, but it's really true right now. I mean, whether you want to change or not, there is a pressure, a shift, an evolution, a revolution that is taking place. And as I said, it is not a pitchfork revolution like the French Revolution. This is an energetic, it is industrial, certainly it is at every possible level. You're feeling it in your relationships, you're seeing the shift in every possible way, but this revolution is going to dramatically impact how we look at making money and how we look at holding a particular lifestyle that we want and what is actually possible with that. So this is what I want to talk about, because let's face it, you and I live in a world, and if you are certainly over 20, and maybe not even that much over 20, but over 20, you likely got the idea that you need to go to school, get a degree, or get some kind of certification of some kind, and you get that, and then you're going to get a job. That's what you're supposed to do, right, Zachary? You're supposed to get a job. And you know, if you're in the same age category of me, given away by the very lovely Silverbeard, then you definitely believed, you were trained to believe that you had to go out and get a job, and it was supposed to be a 20 or 40 year career job where you'd get a pension at the end of it and a gold watch and a nice handshake and all the other crap that no longer exists. And we've watched this stuff disappear over the last 20 or 30 years. It's just faded and faded and faded away. And as much as I've had many arguments with many of my Republican friends, yes, I do believe in unions. I think unions were a great thing. When people were being abused in the workforce, they needed unions to support them. But that has changed. That has changed dramatically. And what I'm talking about here is first world lifestyle. So if you're watching this and you're in Canada, you're in the United States, you're in the UK, you're in Europe, you're in Australia, New Zealand, you know, whatever the first world country is that you're happen to be watching this in, okay, then that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the world of unions and jobs in that way. It's gone. Now, it probably needs to come to the industrial world that is sprouting up in Asia, because let's face it, that's where everything is now manufactured. So this idea, I want to address this idea of jobs, because, as I said, it's been something I've been thinking about for a long time, and I'll tell you why. Because you, like me, have no doubt been seeing the presidential elections as this all ramps up, getting ready for the US presidential elections. And there's a lot of talk about jobs, right? There's a lot of talk about bringing jobs back to the US, about how we're going to have more jobs here and how we're going to bring those jobs about. And Trump even went so far as to say that we are going to bring the car industry back, the car manufacturing industry back to the US. Like you can reinvigorate or reinstall General Motors, as if that's some reality that's going to happen. Yeah, I just stalled there a little bit. Sorry about that. That's not going to happen. And it's for one simple reason. And I know you all get it because it's bloody obvious. And that is, we cannot manufacture anything here in North America, here in first world countries, for the same low cost as we can manufacturing it externally in other countries. It's just that simple. And we can be pissed at corporations who are taking the jobs out of Canada, like Heinz, as Zachary informed me recently. Heinz have taken a bunch of jobs out of Canada and shipped them off to somewhere else. I get it. I understand it. I understand the frustration and the upsetment about it. But listen, this is reality check. We cannot manufacture as cheaply as we can in third world or upcoming world countries. Now, you can be upset about that, you can dislike that, you can disagree with me. It doesn't matter, actually, because that's just the way it is. And companies are not going to stop doing it. Now, if you want to support Frenchies who are supporting the tomato growers in Canada and supporting their business because they're Canadian-based, I'm good with that. I think that's actually great, and I'm fully in favor of you voting with your dollars. I think that's a great thing to do. I really do. But let's not deny the facts, and the facts are that the industrial world has changed and jobs don't exist the way that they did. It's just not going to happen. Now, so where are we going? What is waiting for us? If we're not going to have jobs, and we're not, the whole idea of bringing jobs back, that whole talk around bringing jobs back, that is like such bullshit that's just never going to happen. And these presidential candidates who are talking about bringing jobs back and all that, they're on crack. Well, they're not on crack. Actually, they're feeding you crack because they expect you to believe it. We don't live in the job world anymore. I shall repeat. We don't live in the job world anymore. That whole idea of getting out there and getting a job, it is, for a moment, it exists now, but in the fringes. It's going away. It's absolutely going away. So now let me tell you why it's going away. As I said, first of all, you can't manufacture here at the same prices. There will always be some jobs. Let's not say there's never going to be any jobs. Of course there's going to be some jobs, but this idea of everybody having to have a job, that's gone. We were the industrial world. We being the first world countries, all the first world countries, we used to make the steel, we used to make the ships, we used to make the clothing, we used to make all those things. We don't do that anymore. Do you remember that? We did that. Now, I can remember being born in the UK. I can remember when things were, when you bought your knives and forks and you rolled them over, on the other side of it, it said Sheffield Steel. Steel that was made in Sheffield. And it was very proud of the steel mills of Sheffield. And the shipyards of Liverpool and Newcastle and Manchester and many other places, they're not there anymore. It's gone. But have the people gone? No. The coal mines are gone. But have the people gone? No. What happens is, at some point in time, we have to face the frickin' reality that the system has changed. And once we get that, then we re-educate ourselves, we get a new education, and we go somewhere else. We look and we generate money in a different way. Like I said, we, in the first world, we were the industrial world. We made all the things that we made. We did all the things that we did. And by virtue of that, we created a shitload of jobs, and that was wonderful. It's gone. In the general sense, en masse, it's gone. So what's going to take its place? I think what's taking its place is freaking exciting, and it's wonderful, although it's going to be very scary for those of us who are 35 plus. For the people who are younger than that, they're like, yeah, of course, they're going to get it. And it's like this. We now live in the age of information, you all know that. Of ideas, you kind of know that. Certainly you know that it's the world of the internet. But the world of jobs in the way that we thought of them, that began to die 25 years ago. Exactly 25 years ago, actually, which was the birth of the internet. The birth of the internet was the beginning of the death of the job world, because it birthed something else that is so new. It's 25 years old, but it's new in the general sense of the general public, and that's this. We are now in, not the industrial age, not the manufacturing age, not even the information age, although it's tied to the information age. We are now in the entrepreneurial age. Never before in the history of man has anybody ever been able to start a business with so little. If you wanted to start a business, even as little as 10 years ago, it was very expensive. There was all kinds of things that you had to do to make that happen, including probably have a brick and mortar place. You don't need that anymore. That world has changed dramatically. All you need now is a cell phone. You don't even need a website. You can have a cell phone and you can do business. You can be an entrepreneur on there. Entrepreneurship is the time. We are in the time of the great entrepreneur. And the US is the place that birthed that. It's the thing that inspired us all around the US, is that there was a place where you could make it. You could become something from nothing. Well, that now has come to a massive high, and we are all encouraged into this world of entrepreneurship. Now, you can fight it, and that's fine. You can do that. You can resist it. You can do that too. Or you can embrace it, and it will change everything. Absolutely everything. Embrace it, and it will change everything. So now let me take you into the next level of this, because this is freaking exciting stuff to me. I talked a few minutes ago, and I said that Trump talked about in one of his candidacy chats about how we were all going to be driving American cars. And I just said that mass manufacturing, it's done. It's not going to happen. And if you believe in that shit, well, I'm sorry, then I got a bridge for you. And it's built on swampland. It's not going to happen. But can manufacturing come back in another way? I believe it can. And I think it's the birth of the next class of millionaires who are entrepreneurs. Here's what it is. For those of us who are a bit older, not necessarily my age, but a little bit older, you probably remember in the 90s there was this big push for things to be ergonomic. Remember that? You know, your mouse, people were getting sore wrists from mouse, so they had to redesign the mouse so that it didn't give you repetitive strain injury, I think it was called back then. You know, we got ergonomic chairs so that we didn't get backache. Things became ergonomic. They were designed so that they would look after your body. It was a good thing. It was a great thing. Back then, at about the late 90s, early 2000s, I started talking about something that I said, I don't know how it's going to come about. I didn't then, but I do now. But I said, here's where we're going to go. This was my sort of future prediction. And it's still my future prediction, because we're not quite there, but we're on the brink of it. And if you get in on this, I'm telling you, you are going to be in that class of the next level of millionaires, entrepreneurial millionaires. The thing I'm talking about is not ergonomics, but ego-nomics. E-G-O. Ego-nomics. Ego-nomics. Think about it. Ego-nomics. Last Saturday night, I was invited, my wife and I were invited over to a friend's place for dinner. We had dinner with Dory, who's our friend on here, with Franco Lombardo, another friend on here, some other wonderful people at Karen Carter's house. If you're there, Karen, good to see you. All right? So we had dinner at Karen's house. Now, Karen is a realtor. You know, she does good. She does great. But is she in the class of multimillionaire? No. Yet she did something that just as little as 10, 15 years ago, we would have only thought multimillionaires could do. And what did she do? She had a chef over to the house who came and cooked for us all. He brought his pans, his pots, he brought his assistants, he brought his plates, and he cooked everything there, prepared it all, cooked it, served it, and afterwards cleaned up. Awesome. The food was amazing. It was delicious. And particularly it was awesome because a lot of it was based around my diet. And I got to tell you, I am not an easy person to take care of. Like, you know, my wife sends people a big list of my, what does she call it? My undesirables, and says to people, this is Dove's list of undesirables. And if you don't want us to have us over for dinner now, we totally understand it's not a problem. We understand that it's not easy to take care of us. So we had this chef-prepared meal. It was fantastic. That's something that would have been, you know, we would have all maybe thought, oh, that's something that the very wealthy do 10 or 15 years ago. But here's Karen, a successful entrepreneur in the real estate world, but not in that class we would have thought of, bringing a chef over to cook for us. How is that possible? Because people are shifting to Ego-nomics. They're shifting to serving each of us exactly what it is we want. So you can think about a mass market, and that's great. You want to do that, terrific. But you can also think about the service-based thing that you can offer economically, that specifically is for the person, what somebody specifically wants, what do they want, what you can provide that is totally for them, totally personal. That's economics. Now let's take this up and let's sort of give this another quantum leap, because this is the brink of something totally spectacular in the world. Last May, my good friend Asuka and I were out in Boston. We were at the C-Suite conference with Jeff Hazlett and a bunch of other fabulous speakers, hanging out, learning all kinds of things, just spending some time with really high quality individuals. And it was freaking freezing, and we went out for a walk. It was deathly cold. We went out for a walk, and we're outside, and as we're walking down the main street in Boston, we noticed this store. We sort of look over there, and we're like, what is that? And we go in this store, and the whole store is 3D printers. These little 3D printers. I mean, not big, just like the size of a normal printer, but 3D printers. How cool is that? We were like, wow, this is awesome. I mean, we talked about it on TED Talks, we've seen it maybe in demos and little videos, but here it was, a whole store of these, and you can sort of take in your little picture or whatever it was, and they would turn those things into 3D, actual physical things. You have your little bubble head made or whatever it was. How cool was that? Fantastic. Amazing. Yeah. But that was the beginning. This is where it all gets pretty exciting. Now, they are 3D biology printing, biological 3D printing. Scientists are biologically 3D printing ears, livers, kidneys. Now, instead of waiting around for a transplant, they'll be able to take your cells and grow a kidney for you, a liver for you, a heart for you, right there for you. 3D print it for your body. No chance of rejection, it's yours. Your body sees it as what it is, an extension of your own body. It'll take it no problem at all. Think about how amazing that will be. 3D printing, biological printing. Now, you may have also seen that now they're creating what's called industrial size 3D printers. What they are printing is massive panels of things. So they're building 3D printed homes where all the panels are built, and they're able to build these homes in a matter of weeks for disaster relief, and now potentially for commercial use. Outstanding. I was watching a video today of 3D printed clothing where there's a scanner that scans your body. It's a handheld scanner, scans your body. All the information is taken into that machine, perfect measurement of your body, and then 3D prints based on a design that you pick, and then 3D prints an outfit for you. How cool is that? Listen, it's not just cool. This is the entrepreneurial revolution of economics. 3D printing. Get in on it now. Because it's going to take all kinds of forms. And if you can get your head around the fact that you can economically provide people with what it is they want, so you can print these one-offs of whatever it is that they want, it changes absolutely everything. I went to the Book Expo America in the year 2000 and watched hanging around with editors and publishers and New York Times bestsellers, and we were constantly confronted as authors talking about with this craziness that publishers just didn't seem to promote books, and the sort of going saying was publishers publish but authors sell, and back in 2000 many authors were jumping ship and beginning to self-publish. Very shortly after that we had the birth of the ebook, and there was a lot of talk about how that was going to be really big. Now ebooks outsell physical books hand over fist. The world has changed. If you're holding on to what was old, you're going to be dead in the water. And what is old is the industrial idea of jobs. You've got to become an entrepreneur in whatever way you can. And if you can find a way to do it in a way that is egonomic, meaning provided a service to somebody that is that provides somebody with exactly what they want, man, you are going to be in the next class of millionaire. Now listen, you don't have to do this together. You can jump in with other people. You can find other people. So listen, let's go back to this piece around Trump saying that we're going to be driving American cars. Let me just give you a sort of imagery of what I mean. That's never going to happen. Mass manufacturing is done. But let's say you come over to my place, or I come over to your place. I come over to your place. You come out of your house to walk me to my car, and you go, "Wow, that is a beautiful car. I love your vehicle." And you go, "Oh, thanks." And you go, "What is it?" And I say, "It's a Baron." "A Baron? What's a Baron?" "It's my own car." "What do you mean?" "It's my car. I designed it." "Really? Wow, I'd love a Baron." "Okay. I'll send you over the designs. You can pick your interior, you can pick your seats, you can pick all the things you want to pick. You can pick the size of the engine, you can pick the color, all the rest of it. Why don't you do that?" "Oh, that would be awesome." Right? Now, you love my new car, so you say, "I want it." I send all the stuff over. You select the color, kind of seats you want, all exactly what it is you want inside your Baron vehicle. Right? Pretty cool. Now, I own the design of the Baron because I designed it. But I've got my buddy over there, Bob, and he 3D prints and manufactures, in small quantity, seats for cars. Another guy I know, he does the wheels that go on that vehicle. Somebody else I know has an industrial size printer, and they print the body parts for the vehicle. We send away, let's say, to Tesla, and we get them to ship us an engine. And then another friend of mine puts it all together, and we create a vehicle, a completed vehicle called the Baron, and we send it off to you. We are manufacturing economically rather than en masse. Think about this. This is mind-blowing shit, man. This is the next class of millionaires. You are either on it or you're going to get left behind. The idea of jobs is over. It's over. So let's have a look at what some of you are having to say about this, because I want your feedback on this. Tell me what, if this is exciting shit to you, scares the crap out of you. What do you think? Let's have a look. Richard says, take a look at Misuka, is that right? The unknown economic car manufacturer. Really? Okay, very cool. I will definitely look that up. That's awesome. Thanks for telling me, Richard. Somebody's already jumping on it. That's awesome. Joy says, we are now living in the Jetsons. Mind-blowing. Yeah, it is. It is very, very, very exciting stuff. William said, exciting. It is. Richard says, yeah, the whole idea about industrial jobs and all that is bullshit, absolute bullshit. And the education system is set up for the Industrial Revolution. That is so true. That is another big part of the problem, is the education system is not set for where we're going. It is not set for the entrepreneurs that you and I are going to be, and that our children and our grandchildren are going to be. And so the education system is going to fall apart, and is falling apart very quickly, because it won't serve the same purposes. It won't get people ready for the factory because nobody's going to the factory. It might be fine in a third world country, but it isn't going to work here. Zachary says, yes, I've gotten 2 pieces of paper, one from school and one from you. Zachary's talking about how he went to school and got his diploma, and then he took trainings with us, and he got his certifications there, and he says, guess which one has more value? Thank you, sir. I sincerely appreciate that. I really do. Let's have a look over here. What else is being said? Jonah says, I've done a lot of 3D modeling, so being able to print 3D is very exciting. Listen, this is very exciting for all of us. Richard, thank you for the link to their materials. That's awesome. This manufacturer, this motor manufacturer of economic vehicles. Listen, guys, can you get on this? I mean, are you excited about this? I am so excited about this. It's all, like, it's changing so fast. And instead of being all pissed off about it and looking for another damn job, this is your chance, this is your opportunity to really be part of something magnificent. Stop hanging around looking for jobs or waiting for a better job or hoping for a better job. Just give up the whole fucking idea. It's useless. Give it up. Give it up. Grasp the idea of entrepreneurship. And if you can't jump in at the level, because I'm talking futuristic here, I know that. I'm a little ahead of the curve here, but it's already coming, folks. And you know, here's the deal. When I lived in Aussie, I moved to Aussie, I couldn't surf. But I wanted to surf. I wanted to learn how to surf. So I went out and with my mate, Phil, who became my business partner, and he taught me to surf. But how did I learn to surf? I went out every single day for a year, and I surfed every day. Every day. Now, when you get out in that water, the first thing you got to do is you got to paddle out, and the waves are coming in. That is not easy. You are swimming against the current. You are paddling into waves that are coming at you, and you're trying to make it out past them, those waves, because then you've got to get to that flat part where there's no longer the crashing waves. That's fine. You paddle out there. You're completely knackered. You're totally and absolutely exhausted, but you make it out there, and you sit up on your board, and you're kind of bobbing up and down on the wave, on the water, and then you see the big one coming. Now, at that point, as you see the water start to pull back and start to swell, you have got a choice, which is now paddle towards it, because it's going to crash on your head if you don't, or paddle in the direction it's going, which is towards the beach. And if you paddle towards the beach, then you've got to paddle fast, because if you wait for that wave to hit you, it's too freaking late. You are going to get crushed. So you have got to do certain things. You got to work hard to get out past the wave. Then when you get out there, you got to wait for the perfect wave to come. Then you got to face in the direction that you want to go and paddle like crazy, because you've got to get ahead of the wave so that you can surf it all the way into the beach. Listen, folks, you got to get ahead of this wave. So I'm suggesting that you learn to paddle now. Learn to paddle. Get yourself into an entrepreneurial position right now. It doesn't have to be in a 3D printing world. It doesn't have to be in the economic world. But get yourself used to the idea of being an entrepreneur. Get yourself involved in entrepreneurial activities. Learn to not depend on jobs or bosses or other people determining your future. Take it on now. Right now. Find a way to start developing an economic sense of entrepreneurship. Find a way to be able to get out there in the world and provide service, personal service. You can't go wrong. This is where we're all going. But as far as this whole thing around economics and manufacturing, you got to get ahead of the wave, folks. I don't want to see you get crushed by the wave. It's really important. Start paddling now so you can surf all the way into the beach. Yeah, Zachary says, I will be purchasing a 3D printer for the shop in September. Rockin', man, that's awesome. It's very exciting. There are libraries of files available, which is extremely exciting to me. Man, you're rocking it. That's awesome. Richard, another great link. Thank you for more on these 3D printers. Marcus, good to have you with us. Joanne, I'm glad you're finding it exciting. Plus, you love to design. That's really awesome. Christy, good to see you here. Thanks to all of you for joining in. This is really cool, and I really hope you've gotten a lot out of this. Like I said, tell me if it's exciting to you, if you're scaring the crap out of you. Share it with other people. Share this video with others. Watch it a couple of times if you need to. Take notes, whatever you need to do. But just to get yourself shifted to this whole new world that awaits you in this entrepreneurial world. I mean, this is, like I said, the industrial world is done. We are now in an post-industrial age. The world of jobs is gone. Natasha, you are very welcome. I'm glad it's good timing for you. That's awesome. Good to hear. Listen, guys, get off the whole job thing. Education in the form that you know it, it's done. I'm gonna actually add something to this. You ready for this? Here's it. I was gonna sign off, but I want to give you this. I did a presentation recently for people who were considering going to university. And I was asked for my best advice. And you know me, a little bit edgy. Tend to say things probably not supposed to say, but there you go. So one of the things I was asked is, should I get it? You know, should I go to university? And I said, listen, let's just take a look at what education is today. What education today is a loan system where you go to school, you get a loan, you owe money for freaking years. It takes you years and years and years to pay off that loan. So here's my best advice, and this is for you watching this, right? Because maybe some of you are thinking, well, you know, I probably need to go back to school and get a better education if I'm going to make some more money. Let me just give you the heads up on this. Think about whatever it is you want to do, right? Now, if it's something technological and you're going to go to university for it, here's the news. By the time you finish the first year and you're in the second year, everything you learned in the first year is completely defunct, it's old, it's out. By the time you get to the fourth year, the first 3 years are done. And then when you come out with your BA or your BSc or whatever it is, you're going to have to go and say, well, you know, probably to get a decent job, because now everybody's got a BA or a bachelor of something, probably going to need a master's. So you're going to put another couple of years in to get a master's. And you're probably going to feel pretty good about that for about 10 minutes. And then you're going to realize how much freaking money you owe, and that you're now competing with people who also have masters and a whole other class of people. And these are the people I want to talk to you about. Because here's what I said to these folks. I said, all that money, let's just round it off at 100 grand. Of course, for many people, it's way more than that. Let's say 100 grand. Where's that coming from? Student loans, maybe your mom and dad saved some money for you, did some things, trying to help you go. Here's my best advice to you. Find out what it is you really want to do, that you're really interested in. Find out the company, the organization, the team, the people who are doing that at the highest possible level, and go and volunteer. Yeah, become an intern, work for free. Spend 2 years living on the same money, probably less. You won't party your ass off. You're actually going to dig in and go in and be an intern inside that organization. Learn everything you possibly can, and you'll get a far better education. At the end of that 2 years of an internship where you didn't get paid in cash, you would have got paid in tons of experience. You would have got paid in tons of practical experience that you can actually use. And when you walk away from there, you're going to have a great thing on your resume of that you worked here, you were there, you learned all these things, and you have practical experience. Now put you next to the person who came out with an MBA or a master's in something, and they're standing next to you in this job interview, and they say, well, do you have a master's? And you're going to go, no. They say, the other guy, do you have a master's? You're going to go, yes. Well, it says on the application we need a master's degree. Well, tell us about your experience. And you talk about 2 years that you did at this company or that company that was at the top of it, was the leading edge of what you're applying for. Who do you think is going to get the job? What do you think is going to matter more? An education, a degree, or somebody who actually knows what the frick they're talking about? Somebody who's on the nose contemporarily, who really gets it. This is transformational, folks. We are no longer in the industrial age. We are no longer in the jobs world. This is the world of entrepreneurship. This is the world of Ego-nomics. This is the world of practical experience. Stay curious, my friends. Stay curious. I really hope that you got a lot out of this one. I've been very excited to deliver this to you. I've wanted to deliver it to you for a long, long time. Please